Well, achievement everybody, it's your boy Chimpact bringing guys my week 5 match against Fufu. I've yet to win back-to-back games in the season, and I'm really disappointed in myself that I haven't been able to do that. But, few announcements. If you guys want to get some Philadelphia Scissors gear, definitely be sure to check out the owner's link in the description below. You'll be able to get it, and I believe the code to get like 10% off or something like that is GBA, GBA 15, or it might be GBA 15% off. You might get 15% off. I think that's the reason why there's 15 after it. The code is GBA 15, and I will be trying to stream this week, so if you guys are not familiar with my stream, be sure to give it a follow, twitch.tv/chimpact. I'll leave a link of it in the description below. It's chimpact with a K instead of a C. I see from my layout, you see CHIMPACT, but on Twitch, when they switched from whatever to twitch.tv, just in .tv to Twitch, I couldn't save my password or whatever, so that was lost forever. So anyways, looking at the team preview, Fufu, he's got no Crocodile. So I'm kind of happy about that because Crocodile is going to be a problem to my team, and without Crocodile, I'm a lot more happy defensively against it, but offensively I'll be able to handle his team a little bit worse because he doesn't have the Crocodile, because I have the Scolopy with the Megahorn, I have the Blastoise with the Scald, Grass Knot on my Tornadus, and Diancie with Moonblast. So Scolopy, I mean, Crocodile was going to be tough for me to take hits from, but it was easier for me to kill. So I'm going to lead out with Tornadus here, because I want to be able to knock something off immediately. He didn't bring a Mega, so being able to do that is pretty good. And he leads out with his Crobat, and I'm just going to go for the knockoff as he switches out to Klefki. And the interesting thing about the Klefki is that the Klefki has Light Clay, so there's going to be dual screens involved, and he might not have spikes. He might just have Thunder Wave to deal with the Kingdra. So I know that he has Flash Cannon, because there's no way you don't run Flash Cannon when you have a Klefki and that it's your only Moonblast resist. So he goes out to Kyurem on the switch, expecting me to go out to my Steelix. Good play on his part. And now I'm going to go out to my Black Blastoise to scout out to see what type of move that he has for my Steelix. And I'm thinking that this might be Scarf, so I'm going to double switch out into Tornadus, and I can take a Draco Meteor with my Tornadus anyway if he wants to go for that. But he hits me up with a Toxic, and that's fine. I'm actually just going to go for the knockoff, I believe, onto his Kyurem. But he switches out into the Klefki, and I take a little bit of poison damage, and I'm going to switch out back into my Steelix. Every time that he brings in his Klefki, my two answers to it are going to be Steelix and Blastoise. So he goes for the Flash Cannon here, and that's going to do negligible damage. I knew that he was going to bring Flash Cannon because he has a Diancie, and I mean I have a Diancie, and he's going to want to hit the Diancie with something because, like I said, it is his only Moonblast resist outside of Crobat. So he's going to go out into his Kyurem again, and I'm just going to go for the Stealth Rock. I know that he doesn't have Life Orb, so it's going to hit a lot. It's not going to hit as hard as a Life Orb would, so I'm going to just stay in, and maybe he wants to overpredict, as he does, and he goes for Dragon Pulse. And I'm able to hit him up with an Iron Head. That still did a ton of damage, but I'm still at a healthy amount of HP. Well, not healthy amount of HP, but I'm still at a decent amount of HP to where I can take an Earth Power. So I'm going to stay in and decide to just knock this thing out. And I can get the leftovers back against the Crobat and the Klefki every single time, because the Klefki cannot really do too much. And if I get rid of the Klefki, then my Tornadus puts in a lot more work, and my Diancie puts in a lot more work. So he's actually going to go for the Earth Power there, and I'm just going to be able to finish it off with an Iron Head. So I start off the game pretty good. I'm able to knock out the Kyurem. I don't know where the Kyurem is. Oh shoot, not even on the first try. Where's the Kyurem, dude? There it is. Alright, so back to the game. I should have labeled these. So he's going to go out to his Soggy Doggy, his Suicune, and it's going to take Rocks. Rocks are going to be really important in getting rid of the multi-scale from the Dragonite and putting a little bit more pressure on the Suicune, because like I said, if this is a Crocune, then I could lose to it if it's last spawn. So I want to make it be forced to go for Rest or something like that, and Grass Knot is going to be a 3-8 KO on it if he doesn't get any Calm Mind boost. As well as if I do get the knockoff, then it doesn't matter if he gets a Calm Mind boost, because Grass Knot is going to be 3 KO outside of leftovers. So here I'm going to go for the Grass Knot because I just want to show him that I have it, so that he doesn't want to boost up against me. Just to put some fear in him. So now I'm going to go out into Goldie Rocks again, and like I said, Goldie Rocks and Blastoise are going to be my main answers to the Klepke, but I do want to go out to Goldilocks a little bit more than Blastoise, just because of the fact that I want to get more leftovers so that I can handle the Crobat a little bit better. Now, like I said in the team building episode, I am kind of worried about a nasty plot Crobat because he did bring Mew and Crobat, so I am concerned about that. And here I'm gonna switch out to Scolipede because he either isn't gonna go for the Psychic move because I have a Tornadus that I can go out into, and Steelix is already inside, or he's gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp probably, or knockoff, because that's one of the main ways that you answer to the Steelix. If he's a defensive variant, if he's an offensive variant, then he would have went for Flamethrower and I would have gotten wrecked, but I wouldn't have died from it. So he's gonna go out to his Crobat after I do go for the Mega Horn, and this is a Colbur Berry Cofagris, as I give him the Mummy ability, and I don't want to go for the Will-O-Wisp there because he still does have the Mew, so I'm actually just going to go for the Shadow Ball, and if he wants to Roost, that's good. I'll be able to whittle it down. It's not going to do over 50% to the Crobat, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's still going to do a decent amount of damage to where he can't Roost forever because of the special defense trap and the fear of the Will-O-Wisp. If I do get the Will-O-Wisp off on the Crobat, then my Dynasty is going to be able to handle it really, really well, and Scolipede is not even going to fear a Brave Bird. Well, it does fear a Brave Bird, but it's not going to be as effective. And he could always just bring in Mew and have Heal Bell, so I was kind of worried about that as well. So every single time he brings in Suicune, I'm going to bring in the Tornadus, and it's interesting that he's gone for nothing but Shadow Ball so far. Maybe he's Choice or something, but if he was Choice, the Shadow Balls would do a lot more damage because it looks like the way that the damage is going, the Shadow Ball is like 0 special attack invested. So he's going to go out to his Mew here as I bring in the Steelix once again, once again, and I'm fine with him double switching his Klepke out because it's like, it really doesn't matter. Like, I'm getting a little bit of leftovers back, and if I get like 6 more turns of leftovers, then I'm actually able to take Earthquakes, a +1 Earthquake. Like, I am able to take Earthquake right now, like with a few more leftovers, but a +1 I'm not going to be able to take. So here I have an opportunity to go for Shadow Ball, or I can go for Toxic Spike, and I decided to go for Toxic Spike because I don't want to play any mind games with the Mew. I don't want to get my thing Toxic or Will-O-Wisp back synchronized because I want to be able to Will-O-Wisp the Dragonite, and if I can give it the Mummy ability as well, that'll be good because then I can handle a little bit better if it is at full. But Shadow Ball does pretty much the same thing as Mummy, so it's not that big of a deal. So he's going to go for the Shadow Ball repeatedly. He gets a drop on me, and that's kind of annoying because he got the drop on me, I'm kind of fearing the Ice Beam. So I'm going to go for the Grass Knot because he could go for the Ice Beam with the drop. It could do a little bit more damage than what I wanted to do. So I am forced to go for the Grass Knot. Had I been able to go for the knockoff, that would have been great because I would have been able to knock off the Mew, and it would have been forced to take 12% every turn instead of only 6% from the poison. The little bit of difference really does matter, especially when I'm playing the long game. The Steelix is healing up each and every turn, and here I'm going to go out to Blastoise this time as he goes out into the Crobat, and I do have Ice Beam on this, so I can knock it out, but he is probably going to go for the Roost, so it's not really going to matter. So I decided to go for the Ravispin because I don't really know which has a Defog, if his Crobat has Defog or if his Mew has Defog, because he did bring Light Clay, Klepke, so I know that it's 100% a setup Dragonite, and it's probably going to be a setup Suicune. But the way that the Mew is built, I was thinking that the Mew was going to be a setup variant as well because of the Light Clay, but it wasn't. And his Kieran was carrying Toxic, so it was definitely a bulkier variant because the Iron Head did a lot less than what I expected. So he did go for the Defog there, and here I'm going to just repeatedly go for Scald on this thing to try to get the burn on it. And I'm healing leftovers, so I'm not really too concerned about this Crobat. And I was actually considering double switching out into my my Tornadus there because I was actually expecting the Suicune to come in as opposed to this Mew. But he did bring out the Mew, as I did go for a Scald. I guess I was thinking that he might stay in, but whatever. It really doesn't matter because my Pokemon are getting healthier and healthier, and his Pokemon aren't. So I'm going to go out to Diancie here because I know that he's not going to go for an attacking move that's going to hurt me that much. If anything, he would go for like T-Bolt or Knockoff, and T-Bolt wouldn't do that much. And I want to have the Mega off on the Diancie already, so that if I go out to Diancie on a Dragonite, I don't want to be able to. I don't want to force and protect so he Dragon Dances up on me and then goes for Earthquake the turn after. So that would be pretty bad for me. So I preemptively get the Mega off, which is great. Getting the speed is going to be huge because now I can outspeed the Dragonite, and if his Crobat is adamant, which I know that it's probably not because of the damage output on the Kofag, but he could be like adamant without max attack or something like that. But regardless, I'm going to go out to Scolipede here, and I already revealed that I have Mega Horn, so I'm actually going to go for the Spike here, I believe, as he goes out into the Klefki. And these hazards are going to be pretty important because Spikes is essentially 2 Stealth Rocks against the Klefki, and the sooner I get rid of the Klefki, the more damage the Tornadus is going to be able to do to his team, and the more damage Diancie is going to be able to do to his team. So he goes for the Flash Cannon there, and it does slightly more than Leftovers. It does like, I guess it does 3 times as much as Leftovers because the Leftovers healing 11, and that did like twice as much, I guess, so it's like 20 something. So he's going to go out into this Dragonite. I go for Roar there because I don't want to be able to deal with any of his shenanigans. And I know that he was going to want to switch out there. I was actually thinking he would go out to Suicune there, but he didn't. And now I'm just going to be able to set up the Stealth Rock here, as I know that he's not going to want to... Oh, I go for Iron Head here because going for Stealth Rock against the Crobat is not going to be that effective, because if he roosted there, then I would have been forced to go for the Iron Head, and he would have been able to go for Defog there, and he would have been at a healthier amount of HP. So that was a mindset there. Every time he goes out of Suicune, I'm going to go out into Tornadus. It really doesn't matter because I have the hazards and he doesn't. So I have 1 Spike up, he doesn't have any hazards. So here I'm just going to repeatedly just go for the knockoff. I don't have U-turn, as you saw from the team building. I was, at this point in the game, I was like kind of upset that I didn't have U-turn over Icy Wind, but having the Icy Wind is still going to be pretty effective. Having an accurate move against the Crobat instead of Hurricane, and just lowering the speed of the Dragonite. So he does go out to Dragonite here, and I'm actually going to go for the Roar here because if he is like a weakness policy variant and I go for Ice Beam, that's going to be really, really bad for me because Dragon Claw might not be able to knock me out, but I'm not going to be able to have the Rapid Spin support from the Blastoise anymore because everything on his team outspeeds my Blastoise outside of Klefki, but the Klefki can... I don't know, the Klefki, I think that if he gets up Stealth Rock and then puts pressure on my Blastoise, I'm not going to be able to spin anymore on the Klefki. So, like I said, rinse and repeat. Every time he goes up to Suicune, I'm going to go out to Tornadus. It really doesn't matter if he double switches from his Suicune, because if he double switches from his Suicune, then he's not getting the extra 6% from Leftovers, and so that means every time that he switches in, he's taking 6%, because when he switches in, he's taking 12, and then he heals 6. So the Suicune is still at a deficit amount of HP every time it switches in. So in order for him to get back the HP that he loses from the hazards, he has to stay in twice for 2 turns. And by switching out into Tornadus, I'm able to handle that a lot better. So, like, you look at the way that the game is going so far. Scolipede is at half. Steelix is at a low amount of HP. But I have hazards up, and I have answers for pretty much everything. He goes out to Dragonite, I still have Tornadus at a decent amount of HP. I have Blastoise, I have Kofagrigus, I have Diancie if he doesn't go for the Dragon Dance. And Steelix can take an Earthquake at this amount of HP, I believe. So, and it's not even like his Dragonite can get a free switch in, because everything on my team can do something to the Dragonite. So it's going to lose the multi-skill. So here I missed the Mega Horn on the Suicune. That probably would have been a 2-hit kill because I am max attack. Well, not max attack, but I'm near max attack adamant. So that would have been dealing a lot of damage, and I think it would have been a 2-hit kill. I think even a Mega Horn plus Rock Slide would have been able to knock it out. So that was kind of unfortunate, as he's going to be able to heal a little bit of HP back. And it's the same cycle. I wish I could just skip this, but I don't know. So I go for the knockoff as it goes out into Crobat, and I don't want to take a Brave Bird. So I'm actually going to switch out into my Steelix, I believe. I do go out to Steelix here, as well as the fact that he could also just go for the Defog, but he goes for the Roost there. And if he wants to go for the Defog here, as I set up Stealth Rock, that's fine by me. But he actually switches out, and he goes out into his Mew. So the thing about the Mew is that I noticed set right now, it's Stealth Rock, Roost, Iron Head knockoff, so I'm not really concerned about this. I don't want to stay in because I do need the leftovers to be able to still take hits from the Dragonite. Because if he knocks me off here, then I don't really have any recovery on the Steelix anymore. So I'm gonna go out to the Cofagrigus here, because at this point I have Stealth Rock and Spikes up. So if he does go out to Suicune, he might be forced to go for the rest. And that's exactly what I want. I want the Suicune to be forced to go for the rest so that I put a lot of pressure on it. And if I'm able to get a knockoff on it, that'll be great. So he does bring in the Suicune, and I had an opportunity to actually go for the Will-O-Wisp there, but I figured that Shadow Ball was going to be a bit better because he could have also sacked the Klefki at that point, and Will-O-Wisp would not have been able to knock out the Klefki. Shadow Ball would have, I think. So he goes out into the Suicune, and I could have went for the Pain Split there, expecting him to go for the rest, but I want to be able to put more pressure on the Suicune and force it to switch out, because if I go for the Pain Split, then he's still getting the leftovers recovery as well. So now he is finally going to be able to sack off the Klefki, and my niece is crying. Why? This always happens. Like, this is gonna just... Alright, so down goes the Klefki. I don't know where it was. That's not Klefki. That's Klefki. Ah, I'm so good. Alright, so he goes out to Crobat. He's gonna want to defog. That is fine. And he defogs the Spikes and Stealth Rock away, but I'm still going to be able to set them up again because his Crobat cannot defog against my Steelix because my Steelix has Earthquake and Iron Head. So he's going to go out to his Mew here, and I am able to set up Stealth Rock. Setting up Stealth Rock, like I said, is going to be huge because of the Dragonite. I don't want the Dragonite to have the multi-scale. And Goldilocks it healed from 30 HP to 120 HP because he had a Klefki on his team. Now the thing about the Klefki is he had to bring the Klefki to be able to handle my Tornadus and my Diancie. So it's basically pick your poison. Like, do you want the Steelix to recover HP, or do you want to have no answer to my Tornadus? And he chose the fact that he wants my Steelix to recover HP. So I could have Pain Split here. I think, yeah, I did want to Pain Split here, but I misclicked and clicked Shadow Ball. It doesn't really matter that much, but the damage output is a lot less than what it would have been, and I would have healed a little bit of HP. And here I mistook that Suicune staying in. I wrote down that he or I didn't write it down, but in my head I took a mental note of the fact that Suicune took one turn of sleep, and that's gonna be a factor later on in the game. So he does go for the defog, and I'm able to go for the Icy Wind and knock out the Crobat. I calced it. I would have been able to live a Brave Bird no matter what. So either way, I would have been fine, because if he didn't go for the defog, the Dragonite would have not been at the multi-skill range. So I still would have been able to go for Icy Wind, and Dragonite would not have been able to. Like, as long as the Dragonite is not at multi-scale, I'm fine with the Tornadus taking damage, right? So he does get the speed boost there, and I'm thinking that he's want to go for the Dragon Claw or the Extreme Speed, because that was a Yachi Berry crit, so I think another Icy Wind might be able to knock him out, because I do have a little bit of a special attack. No, I don't have any special attack investment on this, I think. So he does go for the Extreme Speed there, and I know that I'm going to be able to, well, I should be able to take Earthquake from the Dragonite, and I do live with 1 HP, and I'm able to go for the Roar, and that actually preserves differential right there. So that's actually pretty big if I don't sack the Steelix here, which I'm not, because like I said, do want to preserve the differential. And although Steelix cannot take a Brave Bird anymore, I can maybe double switch and get a little bit more leftovers on it. And so that's fine. He does go for the Stealth Rock there. And shut up! Oh my god, why? So yeah, I'm just gonna go for the Mega Horn here. Oh, Crobat is also dead. Where's the Crobat? Alright, so wait, that was Mew. Mew just died. Where's Crobat? Alright. So yeah, at this point he only has 2 Pokemon left. He has Dragonite and Suicune. And the timer at the moment is at 8 minutes. And his last mon is about to be Suicune, because there's no way the Dragonite can beat Blastoise. So I live with a little bit of HP. My EV spreads are godlike, dude. I live with 1 HP for my Steelix, and I live with 3 HP with my Scolipede. Thanks to my genius EV spreads. I could have put max attack on the Scolipede and less HP, but I put more HP on the Steelix, or the Scolipede, to be able to take on hits from his mons like that. So Suicune's not dead yet, so his last mon is Suicune, as I go for the Mega Horn, and it looks like it's a 3-hit KO from the amount of HP that it's at, because I am near max attack on my Scolipede. So I could 2-hit KO at this point, but like I said, in my head, the Suicune already wasted a turn. So I go out to my Tornadus here, because I was expecting this thing to wake up and go for rest. But he's fast asleep, and I'm just like, oh no. And I remember he double switched from his Suicune that time. So that was actually really, really bad. And now there's 3 minutes left on the clock, and I'm just thinking I have to clock block him. I have to waste the turns. I know that because he has Calm On, it doesn't matter. I crit him. So I 6-0 him because of the crit. It's really, really stupid. No, there's no Pokemon that's coming back to life. So basically, I crit him and knocked out his Suicune, and I was able to win the game. But there was no way that he was going to be able to kill another Pokemon with his Suicune because it had Shadow Ball with 3 minutes left on the clock. So I could have just went out to Blastoise and been able to just do whatever I want. And I mean, unless he got a crit on me, which is still fine because there's no way he was going to get 2 kills with a Suicune. So it would have been like 5-1, and it still would have been a good differential for me. So that is the game against Fufu. Be sure to check him out. Link will be in the description. I'm now 3-2 up against the Pittsburgh Piratas next week. Feels good, feels good. Remember to check out my stream, hopefully this week. Nice baby rage in the background. Hopefully it didn't bother you guys that much. And leave a like if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Let me know what you think about this layout, though. Alright, peace.